Giant of a player, giant of a man, and quite simply, Mr Celtic. That's how Celtic described their former midfielder and Lisbon Lion, Bertie Auld, who has died at the age of 83. Auld was part of the Celtic team that famously became Britain's first European Cup winning side in 1967. In two spells with Celtic, he made 283 appearances, scoring 85 goals, as well as winning the European Cup. He won 5 league titles, 4 League Cups and 3 Scottish Cups. To look back on his life and to remember him, we are now joined by the former Celtic striker, John Hartson. John, very good morning to you. Just sum up what he meant to Celtic.
Well, you said there, Rob, Mr Celtic, and there's no better tribute to pay to Bertie Auld. First of all, I want to send my thoughts and my condolences onto his family, the whole Auld family. I was with Bertie about 3 or 4 weeks ago. He was in great spirits. I was out at his house with some friends. We went to see him. But the way I would say about Bertie, Rob, he had time for everybody. He's a Lisbon Lion. He's an absolute gentleman. He was a character. He loved a joke. He loved to sing song. And when I say he had time for everybody, if you've ever been to Celtic Park on a match day, it can get a little bit outside the ground. There's hundreds of supporters there, hundreds of kids, hundreds of Celtic fans coming from all over the country. And the need for the autographs, I've never seen nothing like it. And I've seen Bertie Auld many a times having pictures, signing autographs. He was so popular at the club. And he was much loved. He was much loved, Rob, by absolutely everybody that knew him.
Yeah, and I can hear in your voice what it means to you, John, because what's come over with all the things that have been said and written since his sad parting is not just that he was a great player, it was his manner and personality as well.
Yeah, and that was his character. He had... he used to come and play in my golf day every year. We'd get him a buggy and he would go around and he'd be life and soul. He'd be life and soul anywhere he went. And he was a great player. He played in that wonderful 1967 team under the great Jock Stein, Billy McNeil. Celtic were the first British team to win the European Cup. And 11 players born within 35 miles of Celtic Park. It's so unique. It's so special what that group of players did, and they put Celtic on the map. They really, really did. And Bertie Auld, I knew friends who knew him, and they just idolised him. And it was just his character. He'd go out of his way to go that extra yard. He was so kind and considerate, and he fought till the very end, and he was. There's a little video I think that's doing the rounds today where we're sitting on his settee at his home, and we're singing the Celtic songs and everything else, and he was in great spirits. And obviously, like everybody else, when it came out yesterday, that he'd sadly passed. It was a really sad day.
Yeah, talking of him singing, there's the tale of him leading the singing in the tunnel before that European Cup final, typical of the man?
Yes, and I remember he told a story once that he was lining up in the tunnel. They were playing Rangers at Ibrox, and the great John Greig, who was the Rangers captain, a fantastic Rangers player, and Bertie's in the tunnel, and he shouted over to John Greig. I've said to Bertie, sorry, he said, what are you on today, Bertie? What's your bonus? And Bertie went £10. And Bertie said, what are you on today, John? And John said, we're on £20. And then Bertie Auld said back to John, he said, yeah, but we are guaranteed a tenner, which I thought was great. Yeah. And I'd heard it so many times, but it gets me every time.
Yeah. And you mentioned the geography there. All but 2 members of that 15-man squad were born within 10 miles of Celtic Park, of which Bertie Auld was one of those. Only Bobby Lennox, who was almost almost from a different country. He was born in Saltcoats. And then Tommy Gemmell in Motherwell, which was 11 miles away. For people who don't know their history, that's an incredible fact. We'll never see the likes of that again, will we?
Well, 11 Scotsman as well. Unique, Rob. It can never physically happen again. You were just never going to see the like. And it's unique, it's special. Wonderful players. You know, we've lost the great Jimmy Johnson, Billy McNeil, Tommy Gemmell. Just wonderful, wonderful people. And I'm very, very lucky to have met all them guys in my time at Celtic. And they were absolute gentlemen. They had time for everybody. And they did everything together. A funeral, I remember Billy McNeil talk about his leadership on the pitch. But Billy would speak at every one of those teammates that sadly passed away. It was Billy that would honour them in the church. And his captaincy and his leadership and the mark of the man. He was just a complete and utter gentleman. And what a leader of men Billy McNeil was.
Yeah, and that final itself against Inter, for perhaps people who don't know the history there, Inter with their famous Catenaccio defence. The idea was if you went a goal down, they would put the bolt across, you'd never score, and they got that penalty early on, didn't they? And yeah, people were thinking, oh, Celtic would never come back from this. They were too well organised, but Gemmell and Chalmers, of course, came up with the goods. It showed that spirit in there, didn't it, of those Celtic players?
Absolutely, and they brought home the Holy Grail, you know, the European Cup. And you can see great pictures now of Billy McNeil, you know, standing, surrounded by fans, lifting the European Cup above his head. And what a feat, you know, what an amazing feat they went on to do. And not only that, they won lots of other trophies. They won lots of leagues as well under Jock Stein. So they did a lot of great things, that those group of players, of course, under the great Jock Stein, who we sadly lost. I think it was 1985 at Ninian Park when Scotland were playing Wales. He sadly lost his life that night, Jock Stein. So, yeah, as I said, you know, Celtic, and since then, you know, they've just been, you know, they've become under that European giants. You know, they're former winners of the. Obviously, they're not quite because of the finances and, you know, the riches that other teams got now in Europe. It's very hard now for Celtic to get to them levels. But at that particular time, it just goes to show champions of Europe. It'll never happen again. That terms of players. But of course, we live and dream that Celtic maybe might just get back there one day.
John, always lovely to speak to you. Thank you for sharing your memories.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you, mate.